Hello, this is Clifford, and you are watching Those Fucking Nerds. This is one of the micro episodes, one of the first of hopefully many, where one of us, or both of us, or maybe with guests, uh, will talk about anything from hauls to, um, our collections, or just basically insight on micro insight on just about anything. So, in this episode, we're gonna focus on one of my favorite comic series. It's called Criminal by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, and it's just a quick guide on how to collect it. Um, it as you know, the thing with Criminal is it's not for collectors. Sometimes it is confusing because you got have it in different formats. Some of them are not easy to find. So this is sort of an updated guide. The thing is, okay, where it is, where is it? Okay, well, one of the reasons why I picked this episode is because there was a recent announcement where um, apparently there are going to be new editions of the books. If all things work out later this year, it's going to be out before Christmas, hopefully, and and this is in the one of they posted this in Ed Brubaker's newsletter because he was promoting a new online comic thing. So he posted this. This is the cover of the new deluxe edition, which will be published by Image. And I don't know if this it'll be a jacket or a jacketed thing, or it's one of those like those saga books where, they did away with the jacket. And before that, Sean Phillips also tweeted the textless artwork for the third volume. And if you are familiar with the content that the third volume should contain, um, that cover contains everything. So yeah, well, let's get it on. Well, first off, the let's start with the singles. It helps to think that the Criminal is published, into two distinct eras. The first is under Marvel. No, it is under Marvel Comics, but the imprint is called Icon. This is the same imprint where um, uh, Brian Michael Bendis' Powers were published in, and I think a few more. Kabuki, I think. Yeah, some, if not all. Criminal is one of those books that were published under Icon. Um, it ran for I think at least a couple of dozen issues because it didn't run like Criminal one and then went on a straight series. It's a bunch of mini series. The longest is 12 issues. So if you're collecting the comics, I have a reprint of the first issue, but I don't have it with me right now. Though where is it? The This is one of the original issues published under that imprint. If there's the imprint icon, and this is the second storyline, I think, Lawless. And then this is another one. I just sort of randomly found this at dollar stores. So I don't have the complete singles, but the cool and well, and then after the final story arc, the what was the title of that? Uh, Last of the Innocent. This is we'll go to this later. Um, Last of the Innocent. After that arc was finished, uh, I'm not sure whether Icon folded or whether the duo exited Icon, but the publication stopped, right? And at the time, um, they moved to Image Comics. So to celebrate that, they released two specials. This is the two special, really thick issues. Um, the special edition issue and the 10th anniversary special. Those two issues were the first Image Comics criminal issues that were published, and and during that. Much later, the duo published a graphic novel, original graphic novel called "My Heroes Have Always Been Junkies," which is it's an independent story, but it's set in the criminal universe. So there are mentioned. I think Leo Patterson, one of the characters in the first story arc, was mentioned here. And then what happened was the graphic novel proved to be a huge success. You'd have a hard time looking for the hardcover, but I think I see some copies floating around eBay Plus. Yeah, and then the reprint trade paperback, which we'll get to later. The apparently it became so successful that they thought, okay, let's start a new criminal series. So there's a new number one. This was released January 2019, and it ran for 12 issues, and it resolved some of the stories that were um, one of the characters apparently died, and this sort of covers that. It's a pretty long one of the no. This is the longest criminal arc. It ran for 12 no 10 issues. 12 issues minus two. These two are different though. This is number two and number three, and this it involved it's a story arc about one of the characters from earlier on, cartoonist, and how it's sort of like a parable, I guess, on comic industry. And right after that, it was collect the two stories were collected as an original graphic novel called Bad Weekend. This book it's different from the comic versions because some of the parts were recolored, and it's it has 10 extra story pages. So it's sort of like a director's cut of those two issues. Now, the thing about collecting singles is that one of the greatest things about Criminal and most of Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips's work in general is you get a lot of extra material at the end. Um, uh, it could essays, paintings, um, updates, things that you don't they never reprinted in full in any of the collected editions. So it's one of those rare instances where if you are a real solid completist, you will have to buy uh, all of it, the singles. Yeah, I mean, if you want the stories, I mean, you could go with the collected editions, which we will get to later. Um, though, yeah, the singles are still the best way to collect them if you want the complete thing, like everything. Okay, so Criminal was initially published in collected editions by Icon, by Marvel. There were 6 story arcs, which were later reprinted by Marvel. No, sorry, by Image. So what you got now is okay. What you got is three. The first. This is the first story arc, Coward, and Lawless, and then The Dead and the Dying, and then Bad Night, and then you got The Sinners, and finally, but this is the last of the instant. Now, these six volumes span everything that was published under all the stories that were published under Marvel Icon. Um, there is a 7th trade paperback. These editions were reprints under Image Comics, hence the new branding thing, the red logo. Now there's a 7th volume, wrong time, wrong place, which collects the two special issues. Difference is these two issues came out in magazine size forms. Savage. Those I think those were the proper titles. A Savage Sword, which is sort of an homage to Conan comics, and the other was an homage to Kung Fu comics. Um, and then you've got the trade paperback versions of Junkies and Bad Weekend, and you more or less have the complete run. Um, there was supposed to be a trade paperback for the that covers some of the issues of the Image Comics, the 2019 Criminal series, but it was canceled because the collected edition is going to be different. Well, but if you are a hardcover, strictly a hardcover collector, it will be a bigger challenge to collect the books because um, the deluxe editions, criminal deluxe editions, were published out of print for decades. Yeah, decades, I think. Yeah, this is the volume one, the first volume, and this was published under Icon, and this is the second volume, also published under Icon. Now these books go for a premium on eBay right now. You'd be hard pressed to find both books at cover price, at least. That they're a bit expensive to obtain. I just managed to buy these books at the right time and almost just a little bit over cover price. There it is. And then yeah, and these books cover the first two uh no, the first six trade paperbacks, everything that's published under Icon. So if you have these two right now, if you have these two plus either these two specials or the the seventh volume and the two original graphic novels, then you have the entire run of Criminal so far. Plus, of course, the 12 issues that are still currently in singles format. Um, Now, the thing is, the if you are going to collect, if you are a strictly hardcover collector and you want, a very even looking collection, well, you'd have to wait for until later this year, hopefully. Um, they already have announced a the third volume, the third volume of Criminal, which will collect the issue number one of the 2019 series. It will start with this, and then it will skip the first. It will skip the issues two and three because it um, it it doesn't. No, it's the graphic novel, the Bad Weekend graphic novel. So it's skipping that, and then number four. This is I'm not 100% sure where this will go because what will happen is the I think this will also be collected with a deluxe edition. So basically, what will happen is the deluxe edition will include the third deluxe edition. That is, will include these two. That Weekend, which is Criminal number two and three, and then My Heroes Have Always Been Junkies, and yeah, that's about it, I guess. Yeah, that's it. So that's a pretty. I think that will still fill enough space, not too thick, and it will still look great with these books. Um, the rest of the issues, number 5 until number 12, will be collected in a separate, oversized hardcover called "Cruel Summer," which will be hopefully will be released June or July, and it's a story arc in itself. So I guess it's sort of they had to decide, right, because resulting book the resulting book will be too thin. No, rather, the resulting book will be either too thin or too thick. They might have to release a double size thing, so they sort of just let's just do it as a separate book, and they have posted images of the cover online. And I didn't know initially whether it was going to be a regular size hardcover, and just recently they confirmed that yes, it's going to be an oversized hardcover. So this is it's nice. So if you can't get your hands on, if you don't have the deluxe editions yet, you could save your cash and you know get a save up for the reprints of the first two volumes, and then buy the third volume, and maybe before that buy the Cruel Summer hardcover, and you will, yeah, that pretty much covers every criminal edition so far. Um, Although, which means at some point I might have to sell. I don't know. I might. I'm not. I'm trying to decide whether I should keep these. No, not these, but the original graphic novels, or sell them because once I have the hardcovers, I'm planning on buying them. I'm double dipping actually. I mean, these are good. These are super collectibles, but you know they look the same. They wouldn't look consistent on the show. So it's kind of nice to have. I know. I think Sean Phillips mentioned that they're going to offer jackets, book jackets for those who bought the icon versions, and I think that's cool. And I am considering ordering those if if it's significantly cheaper. But then again, if it's like I don't know, $20, just $20, or might as well just buy the new books, double dip, and when I have those books, I'll decide whether I should sell these or not. I don't know. Um, yeah, well, that's basically it. So just a quick recap. Right now, it's the collections are all over the place right now. But once the deluxe editions, new deluxe editions are out, um, it's going to be fairly easy to collect like those saga books. You just have to have those 3 volumes and that's it. So the same deal with this. Once you get 3 volumes plus Cruel Summer, boom, you have everything criminal that's ever published. So hopefully, with all this, with the pandemic going on, we really can't go out and buy books except online. Uh, Assuming could find some stores or sellers that are open. Um, yeah, um, that's it. So hopefully just let us know if you liked these kind of content, and we might do something else. I know I'm going to do my future hauls um, with doing in this format, because if you want to see my past hauls, you can check out my Instagram username at tapsilogic, PAPSILOGIC, and I post my hauls there, and post some comic stuff. So next episode, hopefully next episode we'll see you again. This is Clifford, and these are those fucking nerds. Stay cool.